Okay, I'm starting.
Madiapoba e tsarosang meetse ya ditaukgadi di kgannang ditsi tse tala lebolobolo le tona le lela le leng phala le bona mapatateng le rwele ke motšhitšhi wa manyomonyomo a tshwanetse e khwibedi di fetotseng modile mole wa selatsa sa letsatsi la matsapa a sa monyuli maoto a sa ikemele go le empa e phegese metswedi ya metsi ya bollomelomo mesetla e lefulo letswa e le omile selebolobolo ka kwa ga phala ba re bua ka thipa tse motho le mamao a ntlha tsa dikutu di ntshang mabadi dikgaya di fetotseng di be di šišimiša le menwana ya difofu There's a way that it's alright sometimes, but the end can be addressed a lie in disguise. Had my share of bad choices, broken dreams, disappointments. Through it all, the makings of a man. As I look back on my life story, and I see where your love has brought me. Hallelujah, I'm alive. Hallelujah, I'm alive. Don't know what tomorrow brings, shall not fret nor fear sky. I will shout, cause I'm alive. I will dance like David did before. And I will not take life for granted. Cause now I'm living the life I've always wanted. I'm alive, I'm alive. Ooh, yeah. I'm alive. Oh, yeah, yeah.
That song was that you just heard is called "I Am Alive," and it's a song by Andre DeLong. And indeed, we are alive. I know it's probably hard for people to believe that you can be alive if it's -2 degrees outside. You should consider yourself lucky because up in the north, hey, you just came from Gävle.
Yeah.
Or what was it? What did you come from? What's the temperature?
It was cold.
Yeah.
That's all I know. and it was even worse to get back home because
Yes.
you couldn't drive.
Right.
It was terrible.
Yeah. So we are at the third episode of this very, very interesting set of podcasts. Thank you so very, very much if you're joining us for spending your time a Friday evening, by the way, which is a little bit different because normally we have it on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m., but we'll have it at 7 p.m. next Thursday. So you're welcome to return at that junction. The reason why we change it is because students at the school where I teach are so eager to come, but they said they don't want to come during the week while they are working hard, and they say they want they wanted to start their weekend well. And so we're not going to mention any names, but in the studio right here, there are students from the school where I'm teaching. If you're not here and you were planning to be here, we'll open the door when you come because we will wait for you to stand out there in the freezing cold. Why do we have this podcast? Well, we have this podcast because we are very, very serious about making a difference in other people's lives. And one of the things that we've done over our lives is to impact young people in a rural setting in South Africa that have a need to improve their knowledge and their skills in agriculture in order for them to enjoy looking at agriculture as a career. It's very unusual for young people in rural settings especially, to look at that as a first option in career. And so we wanted to change that. And so a good 4 or 5 years ago, we started a program in South Africa. And the project is called Agri Academy. It's run by an organization in South Africa called Learning Academy Worldwide. And what we do is we train young people in basic agriculture in order to strengthen their ability to go into the workplace and do something meaningful with their lives. Food is very, very important. And so we hope that that experience of meaningful learning will help us all one day to have that sense of food security. Right, Andre? And we started this in a place called Haarlem, which is in the Southern Cape. So that's about 11,000 kilometers away from here. Yeah, it is far. And Andre is with me this evening. Andre de Lang. Andre, good to have you here.
Yeah, man.
This topic is close to your heart, right?
Yeah.
And I did not realize, because when I got to see on the side of the road that Humansdorp, where you were born, which is 160 kilometers away from Haarlem, I thought, now there's a story to tell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sense is that you agree that our young people really need a different kind of approach when they think of agriculture as a career, instead of thinking that it's all toil and hard labor, that you can't make money from it, but that it's a viable career.
Totally. I mean, food is the future, you know. And I mean, everybody's talking about being in the media somehow. But I mean, people need to eat. So there is no, I think the young people really need to, and I think it's just the opportunity to learn how to do it. You know? I grew up on a farm, and I've done some stuff. I've done things that I like being in the land and work with the hands.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So,
And of course, a great deal has changed in agriculture, so that you don't even work with your hands anymore.
don't work
Well,
with
you,
your hands
you, you work with your hands, but it's a different kind of activity.
yeah.
So-
totally, yeah.
What we'll do this evening, Andre and myself will be talking together with you, and we'll find a way to learn from each other. Andre is a singer and a songwriter, and that only begins to tell the incredible contribution I feel and I've sensed and I've experienced you make in this world, Andre. And so having you as part of this is really, really meaningful. And so, but what we'll also do is we'll speak to some friends in the other parts of the world. We'll speak to Sven Isaacson, that is in Texas. We'll speak to Johanna Diegermark, who is in Östersund, and we'll speak to Iona Bjerkes, who's down in Cape Town waiting. Now, I have their numbers, and I'm going to give them a call, so they'll be joining us very, very shortly. But as they do that, I am going to just play a song here while I get them on the line. And I'll get you to enjoy this particular piece of music from Andre.
Just like a mama, you clothe and you feed. From dawn to sunset, from winter to spring, you seemed eternally always there for me. Yeah, true love, mama, don't you cry. So
Yeah, if you're joining us now, if you've just joined us, we are listening to Andre de Lange's music, which is part of this effort that we have here in Stockholm to raise awareness for what we're doing in South Africa and get support for what we're doing in South Africa. Andre, you mentioned a little bit about this song, Tula Mama. Said the word means hush. Tula means hush. But you said it in a very respectful way, right? What do you mean?
Everything is gonna be okay. You know, so because when I wrote the song, I always had this. It's about the African woman. Because we always say that the African mama, they carry the continent on their shoulders. So without the African mom, there will be no Africa.
Ah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's almost like an anthem for her.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's precious. An anthem for Mama.
yeah.
Let all the Swedish young people start taking notes here on Anthem for Mama. Eh? Thank you very, very much for that. Now we're going to make calls. Huh? So, and I hope someone will pick up the phone. I'm going to sound like that, you know, those programs when you phone somebody and they're going to win something.
Yeah,
You hope they pick up the phone. So what we're going to be doing this evening, we're speaking to a couple of people. Why are we speaking to Johanna Degermark, for instance? She just came back from South Africa. She's a Swedish young student who studies at a vocational training school in agriculture in a place called Östersund, about 640 kilometers north from here. And we'll also speak to Iona Bierkes. Why are we doing that? Good question. Iona was very, very instrumental in making Johanna and her colleagues and the teachers that traveled with them to South Africa, making their lives meaningful and managing their logistics while they were there, especially in the last part. Together with my daughter Elaine, they were responsible for ensuring that the trip went smoothly. And so we'll have Iona on the line as well very shortly. And then thirdly, we'll get Sven Isaksson on the line as well. And all of them can just introduce themselves briefly when the time comes. But Sven is the reason why we're in this particular space, and we're very, very thankful for his generosity in this particular space. It is absolutely magical. So there was an old ad on television called Telcom ad, I think. Make the call, make it happen. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't.
You don't? Okay, there we go. We have people.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, I was just in on the stream.
You on the stream?
Yeah.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah. It's cold, man.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I see that. But you got the good hat on. You look comfortable. You all look good.
Right at home.
It looks cozy.
It is cozy.
Yeah.
We're trying our very, very hardest to stay cozy. Thank you so very much, Sven and Johanna and Iona, for making it for this lovely conversation that I'm hoping we will have. And I want to start. I would like to start with just maybe brief introductions. Would be quite in order from all four of you. So let's start with you, Johanna. I've got a picture up with you on the internet at the moment, and it's one when I visited very recently. But a brief introduction, telling us a little bit about you, Johanna.
Yeah, I live in the north of Sweden, and I'm 9 years old, and I educate myself to a forestry machine driver.
Forestry machine dropper?
Driver.
Oh, driver. Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I do. And on my spare time, am I have horses, so I train them. That's what I can say about me.
Fantastic. Let's go south. I mean, very, very south where it's nice and warm. Iona, we envy you. We're sitting here and we're shivering. You can probably see some folks can maybe see that I'm, trying to stay warm. A brief introduction from you, Iona.
So I'm going to apologize in advance. Good evening to everyone who is watching, everyone who's going to hear the sound of my voice. I am literally joining you, load shedding. So you might lose a little bit what I'm saying. Please, I don't have a problem repeating myself. It kind of happened now because I missed your introduction to me starting to speak. I missed that prompt there, Theo. My apologies.
Not a problem.
But yeah, I'm going to say greetings from a very hot Cape Town. It's a stunning evening here. And like you were to everybody earlier on, other than being director of Vulcani Mavericks, or one of the 4 directors of Vulcani Mavericks, I am someone who is out there on the front lines trying to change or make some kind of impact to change the trajectory of South Africa, because I see the in its people and its resources. And I'm just doing my best, doing my part to the two. That's me in a nutshell.
That's a great nutshell. That's a. Thank you so very much, Iona. Let's cross the pond, as they say, and go to Sven Isaksson. Sven, just a brief introduction from you.
Yeah, my name is Sven Isaksson, and I'm now years old, and I got 2 kids and an amazing history, from starting of interest in a lot of different things in music, studying in America and so forth. And now I have Sven. Where you're sitting now as a creative office, and I use that as a platform and for my other interests, like in horses or in marketing and coaching, and so that's a little about me, yeah, and with a deep interest in music, of course, and creativity.
Yeah, and I'm very, very thankful that this creative space that you're talking about, that you avail that to us for this very unique project that we are collaborating on. Before I continue, I just wanted to give a little bit of update here news-wise, and then I'll come back, because I think I would love for Joanna to begin thinking about telling us about what it was like to be down in South Africa. So while you get ready for that, Joanna, I just want to give a little bit of update. So about 4 or 5 years ago, we started this project where we, in a way, introduced to young people the possibility that you can have a career in agriculture, number 1. Number 2 is to provide support for where they lived in order to do 2 things. Number 1, give them knowledge, specific training opportunities. And number 2, give them skills, things that they can do with their hands in order to earn. I mean, that's a real big thing. Learning is one thing, but we felt we wanted to help them learn and earn at the same time. So, and earlier this year, they graduated. A good number of students graduated from that bridging program that we had at the outset. And half of them is already an employee at a Blue Delight nursery. It's a blueberry nursery. And the other half, all of them who live in Harlem, got a full scholarship at Stellenbosch University's Agriculture College. But of the 9 that got this offer, only 3 could take it. are. And I know I can see that surprise on your face. You wonder why. But the thing is this, people have families, with children, there are other commitments. It's not easy to just move and then start something elsewhere. But anyway, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. South African time, 3 of them will graduate after the first year's completion at Stellenbosch. And that's Tanya Phillips, and it's Sade, and Damien is the young man in there. So for the 3 of you, I'm not so sure if you're looking, but maybe you can return to this later. Our hearty congratulations for this incredible achievement here. Yeah. For this incredible achievement this far. Yeah. That's cool. And we are so proud of your tenacity, your diligence, staying committed, never giving up, and being willing to take certain risks. And we think all of that contributed to you making an enormous impact and difference, not only for your own lives, but certainly for others down the line. We're quite excited about that. So that's news, and I think that's really great news. Andre, what are your thoughts?
That's amazing.
That's incredible news.
That's incredible, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
and,
person at a time.
That's right, yeah. And so we're very excited for you, and we're very excited with you, and I think it's encouraging. It really is heartwarming and encouraging, right?
Totally.
Earlier this year, somewhere I think in the middle of June, I got a phone call and somebody said, you know what, we need a place where we can have our students experience some kind of practical opportunity to learn. And we've understood that you have some connection. And it was right, because I went to this mall, what was it? It's called a fair. It's maybe there was a school here in Stockholm that had this fair where you can go and you can see what they're actually doing at a gymnasium, a high school where they study agriculture. And of course, I handed out my card, and this one thing led to that, and I got this call. It took us 7-8 weeks to put a big trip together for these 3 students and 2 teachers. And they left for South Africa at the end of August. Johanna is one of them. Johanna, you need to speak to us and tell us now, what did that trip mean for you? Firstly, just so everyone knows, what was the trip about for you?
Yeah, it was to experience how different agriculture is in South Africa compared to Sweden. I think I have taken a lot with me to Sweden from that, because we was almost a week in Holland to experience how they do there, and how they plant stuff, and everything. And it's a lot different from Sweden.
Very different, right?
Yeah.
What was so you were in George, which is about 450 kilometers from Cape Town, and the trip there was long. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
But beautiful.
Yes. You one of the things I remember you were saying was that you were especially in Harlem, that you all felt at home. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the people in Harlem, they were very welcoming, and they wanted to be with us and learn to know us. So they invited us to stuff and dinner and wanted to be with them.
Part of the experience there with these folks must have been different for you, but I think your especially your interest in animals and horses particularly
Yes.
I don't think you saw so many horses in George, but when you got to Harlem, you saw horses, right?
Yes. Yes, I did.
What did you think? What were your first impressions?
I was like, this is weird because like the horses were free
Yes,
and
Free.
yes, they were running around.
Ah,
Yeah, free,
okay,
free. Yeah.
okay.
Det är få hästar inte gör i Sverige. Sorry, I know we switched.
Is it?
nah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like in Sweden we have the horses in stables
Yes.
and in what do you call it, like in fences they are.
Yes, they are fences that that restrict or limit their movements, so to speak, but for their
Yes.
protection, of course.
Yes. Because like you can't have them free because of the roads and the horses would just go wherever they wanted to.
Mm.
So that wouldn't work here. But apparently it's a way for the people in Harlem to not being what you call it. They need to harvest the hay and all of that stuff to feed the horses
Mm.
because they are letting them free.
Mm.
But they also doesn't have winter like we have in Sweden.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So if the horses would run free in Sweden, they wouldn't find anything to eat in the winter.
Right. Right.
Wow.
When you presented, because part of what you had to do is only learning the English language, learn the culture, and also understand a little bit more of agriculture in South Africa. I do remember also that you and the other two students, together with the two teachers, made a presentation at the Nelson Mandela University in George. And that's, I think,
Yes, we did.
where you met Iona. And Iona, I wanted to bring you in here if your connection is stable there. You had a comment, I think, Iona, you made about what impressed you so much about Johanna's knowledge level. Oh.
Is Ayana with us?
Yeah, it's really she did say earlier that she has difficulty with
There's load shedding.
load shedding. Yeah, load shedding. Oh, what was load shedding like for you?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Oh yes, we can hear you now,
Yes, we
Iona.
can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. All right. Just to go back to what I was trying to say there. I'm so glad that you're asking me that question again because it's the one thing that I actually can't stop talking about when it comes to the students and the teachers who I met. That presentation at the university, at Nelson Mandela University, was so impressive, and merely because, or mostly because, I found myself just drawing comparisons in terms of how knowledgeable and how proud the Swedish students were of their country and their country's accomplishments, and all of their projects and all of that, and was just such a sense of pride that came from them when they were talking about the things that they do. And I just found myself wondering what it would be like in our very own country, our beautiful South Africa, if we could instill that same kind of pride in our young people. Just what a difference that would make here. I know that while we spent time together, Johanna was making some very interesting observations, and she like the fact that she saw horses running around freely, and she thought that was weird. Johanna, you saw lots of weird things when you were in South Africa, right? We giggled about a lot of those things. We laughed a lot about those things. She saw a lot of weird things, and what I love about Johanna is that she's such a born leader, and she has such an amazing confidence,
Mm.
and so she'll just tell you what she's thinking, you know. But how I found that valuable is that I was paying attention to the things that she was saying, and then trying to see how what she was saying could be used here on home soil.
Mm.
So thank you for that, Johanna. Thank
Wow.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Mm.
Tell us about Iona, Johanna. What did you think
Mm.
of her?
Oh
Oh, she's
gosh.
such a lovely person.
Mm.
I love I love Iona.
Oh.
Oh, you guys. I was doing so well. I was doing so well. I'm
No.
wearing mascara, people. I
Well,
haven't cleaned my makeup off yet. What's wrong with you? I love you too, Johanna. Oh,
no, but we need that kind of affirmation, Andre,
Totally.
to affirm people
Yeah.
for who they are and what they do. Probably
Yeah.
more for who they are.
Yeah.
But that's important. Would you say?
I agree 100%.
Yeah. Too much
Yes.
negativity around it means that we can't really
yes.
learn from people, right?
Yeah, I mean, you go nowhere
Yeah.
with all the negative. You go nowhere, you know. So it's best to build with
And
positivity.
and Johanna, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You to just what did we spend 10 days together? Was it 10 days? I think.
Yeah, I think it was 10 days.
Yeah. And Theo, you know what really struck me was just how you know there's always something so beautiful for me around the human connection, because it doesn't matter where you are from, it doesn't matter what you've been through. We are the one thing that we all have in common is that we are human, you know. And so I spent such a short time with these three students, but I cried my eyes out when they left. I didn't do it in front of them, I waited until they were gone. But here I was in the car and I was like, oh, I wanted to stay with them a little.
Mm.
And I think when with this project and with what you are doing, and I really need to find a new word. I do not like the word project because this is so much bigger than that, you know. So we have to. I think we need to coin a new word for what you are doing, because it's much bigger and way better than a project. But for lack of a better word, this project, what it is doing, and what it is yet to do, is connect people through education, but doing it with a common thread, which is humanity, our humanity, but also our ability to love, whether it be another human being or animals or the soil, or you know, there's this deep connection in everything that is being done in this project to love and humanity, and I think that is rich. That
Well,
is rich.
I'm glad you're saying that because some students who are in the room here that would probably do very well to carry that forward. There's a whole horde, I can tell you. There's another 20 odd of them that are eager to make the same trip in September next year.
Okay.
And so,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
so you're going to have your hands full. Sven, when you listen to
That's all right.
when you listen to Johanna's account here and her experiences, I would like to know. I wonder what goes through your mind. What are some of your first reflections?
No, I think it's very nice to listen and hear their reaction, you know, and I think it's natural too, because you come to a whole different setting and country and you just kind of have to take it in and adapt, you know, and then assimilate, and you kind of okay. To understand that is kind of, you have to what we call sneak in and become understand what's going on here and how can you contribute and help in that way for making sense, you know. And then it's fun because it's agriculture is universal, animals is universal, so it's kind of cool to you can learn both ways, you know, because speaking of the horses from the beginning of the horses are wild and they should be like that, but then maybe in Sweden you have them in a specific way, you know. So it's kind of cool. Wow, this is their way and this is our way, and then you combine and you get together over things, you know. And then suddenly, as we say, together they develop smart things, and it's all different. we all have different resources, and availability. Like you have the weather and the soil and whatever. And maybe in Sweden you have other, but you can quite quickly adapt and get together on that. So I think the learning is very powerful, and just being around and asking question and number one, taking the steps of going there, as this project, and you hear those experiences, and then it's like family after that. It's like wow, now we have done that, and it's just going to grow
Yeah.
incremental very fast, I think, and it has to be in a good mood too. Like I hear this conversation, it's fun, cool stuff in a way, and should be the laughs,
Yeah.
and it's nice to see. But even with the horses, every time, every country is very specific. But the horses is an amazing metaphor to learn from, and I think agriculture is similar. Like we say, it's all food. It's cool stuff.
Yes. And I have to say on that last
Yeah.
point, Andre, when I listened to Johanna and the fellow students coming back from South Africa, and I had listened to their observations, the one thing that I have to say I did not see was just how good South Africans generally were in Harlem in taking care of the animals. Now, Johanna and her team would say that they did see a lot more that needs to be done, and I think this is what you are hinting at, Sven, that there's through this collaborative, this working together,
Yeah,
sharing of
Yeah.
expertise,
yeah.
you get to
In it,
mm,
yeah, and it's in everything. You learn is like what works and what not works. But you have number one, you have an open mind. You get together, and that's if you have an open mind and you start a conversation, and then suddenly, okay, why is it that way or whatnot? It's not right or wrong. It's just
Yeah.
look what we can do here together. I think that's you become build that bond, and like just Andrew telling, wow, his vision of going through South Africa, the scenery, whatever. It's all exotic, and now you're in the freezing cold. You know what I mean? You make your own. They say American, but you have to make your own cool movie, and you
yes,
decide who you want to be. You want to be the star, or you want to be the villain, or whatever. It's like have fun with it, like
yeah,
weepy, or let's have cool
yes,
stuff and make it a little bit cinematic, and now you can be the guide to cool stuff and the teacher and the. I think that's important.
Yeah.
And
yes,
then it
Yes.
become juicy,
yes,
but it's all amazing stuff. It's like nature scenery. It's world class stuff that if you just stay in your house or in your neighborhood, nothing really would change. But so it's all amazing.
Yeah.
Adventures and learnings will come very very fast. And then for young or older people, there's always the curiosity to learn and advance into things that become very very practical and universal. I think, like we said, if it's food, how to treat animals, family, music. It's all the riches, and it doesn't need to. It's not really about money, even. That's the cool thing. We are often looking at things with a big dollar tag, and they sell it and they market it like you need this to be happy. No, it's all inside and available for us anytime, anywhere. We just have to remind ourselves, and by working together in a common thread, it gets wow. It's a bliss moment, and you can decide what you want it. Good and bad, but
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
reaching
Yeah.
out, it's like gratitude is powerful. One of the most powerful thing you can contribute, and you get it back. So it's a no lose in that way. To be a little, you kind of keep it up there in the clouds a little bit, and then the hard work will pay off.
yes. I like that the
That's
scriptors.
I like that.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I think when we spoke earlier, Sven, I was reminded of the first time we met. You were taking steps. I mean, what you just said now about getting off the couch, getting out of the house, is what you did on the 9th of September.
Yeah,
Because so not just talking steps, but taking
taking
steps. Yeah. Not always easy, right, Andre? But necessary.
totally necessary
Yeah.
if you want to grow.
Yeah.
It's,
Ah,
To actually do that. And Johanna, on this one, we salute you because I have to say when when Leon, there was a time when the teachers left, and of course one of the teachers is your mother
Yes.
on top of it. Leon did say that he sensed that there was just a moment that was sad for you. Was he right?
Yeah. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I
of
think
course they were probably sad, but I don't know. They didn't tell us.
no, what I
But
meant
I
was,
mean, like,
sorry, maybe I wasn't clear. Leon said, when your mom and other Linda left to go back to Sweden, and you
yes,
were staying on afterwards,
yes,
they felt so concerned that, oh my goodness, how are these kids going to deal with it? The adults have gone. That's what Leon was saying, and
oh,
so yeah,
Leon was sad for us,
yes, it's
or
exactly.
what?
He was so
Okay.
worried that, oh my goodness, how are they going to cope with this? Their parents are not here.
Oh.
But that's the point I'm trying to make. That speaks so much about the courage that you applied, and that you stuck it out, and that you didn't just
Yes.
talk about steps, that you took that step, and there was this separation from familiar people, from familiar surroundings, and you launched out. So we appreciate that. We think that's fantastic. I'm wondering at this
Yeah,
particular,
like,
yeah, go on.
we are grown people, and in Sweden we are being like, you're free when you're 16. You can go on a trip without your parents if you want to, and yeah, like, we're not so, like, we don't stay in the home until we are 18, 20.
Yes, you move
We
out.
are,
Yeah, you're a lot more
yes.
independent.
Yes.
It's like most of the people when they start the gymnasium,
Mm,
they move to another city or closer to the school,
mm,
and that's, I think that's the reason why we are more independent
right.
when we are younger, because then we have to do everything ourselves.
No, yeah. The courage is definitely there as well. I wonder, was that something that
Yes.
also stood out for you a little bit, that the bravery to take that kind of step?
Yes. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. And the level of maturity, that they possess is really admirable.
Mm,
I yeah, there were times during our time together where I would wonder, am I actually needed here? Because they were just so independent, and
mm,
they would just arrange things and let me know that they're doing fine. And I thought, okay, I actually think that if I were to be honest now, they are doing more for me than I am for them, because I was just loving every minute of getting to know them,
mm,
and from what I learned, I can say with confidence and with just brutal honesty, all three of them, Albin, Tindra, and Johanna, have such big, beautiful futures. That is for sure. That's for sure.
wow.
I wanted to talk quickly about the fact that while they were with me for such a short time, with the four of us spent a short time together, but while we were together, we managed to get ourselves on radio. Johanna, you have to talk about that,
Oh,
what
yes,
that was
that's
like.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
It
Roger
was hard.
Jacobs from Eden FM got us some airtime.
Yes.
And before we actually talk about that, let me also just say that Rodney Dice is actually watching right now. So
Oh,
hello,
good.
Rodney
Hi,
Dice, and
Rodney.
Rodney's from George High School. Yes. Johanna, what was that radio interview like?
Difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Like,
Yeah, it speaks to your bravery, which is why I brought it up. because Theo, that was me completely. I initiated that. I thought it would be a great idea because I needed the people of George to know that they had these 3 awesome students in their midst,
Mm.
And even though it was completely out of their comfort zone, they did it anyway.
Mm.
English is not their first language.
Mm.
But there they were in the studio, sitting chatting to Roger. And that speaks to what I'm talking about. They are just awesome. They're awesome human beings.
There you go. Yes, that was a radio experience. You say it was difficult,
Yes.
Johanna. Was it the language part of it, or what was it?
Yeah, and like you're sitting in a studio with new people, and you don't know what questions are coming. So then you're saying like weird stuff, and yeah.
They're saying some weird stuff. That's South Africans.
Like,
We're very good at saying weird stuff.
We're very what? Weird.
We are very good at saying weird
but
stuff.
like,
I'm saying we are very weird. Because I would take that too.
It's hard to do. People don't appreciate just the excellence and the brilliance needed to be weird. I mean, give us a break.
Yes, exactly. When people call me weird, I say thank you.
Yeah, it's a compliment. So,
yes.
what we did last week, and I think this is, there's some things about, and Sven, I mean, you will hear what's happening in my head and what we do. It looks like, these individuals that are coming into our orbit, so to speak. I think every time I hear them speak, every time I hear Johanna speak, I hear this. That's what you are, Joanna. 1 in a million, and no one can take that away from you. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yeah. We mean that.
I agree.
One of the things that I really appreciated of Andre is how he puts an idea on a tray, on a serving up like a concept in music. And we'll conclude this very wonderful evening by just speaking a little bit to you, Andre. And I really would hope for you, Sven and Naona and Joanna, to stick with us. I don't want to say you'll never go hungry again.
No problem.
Like we say. Stick with us and you'll never go hungry again. Who said that? That's from Lion King, I think. I think it's Scar that says that. He said to the hair. Yeah, he said
Scar
to the.
says that.
Yes, he says. Oh no, that's no. I'm not a Scar. No,
Yes.
no. Anyway, but
You have a Lion King quiz. I'm winning that one, I can tell you right now. I've watched that movie so many times.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But Andre, there is a song on your album, and I'm gonna play it now. And the title of the song is the Stem Revisited.
Mm, I am
So
intrigued.
listen.
Salute you, our champions, brave and fearless ones. You're the treasure of our nation. Symbolize our rising star. You're the keepers of our genius. You're the symbols of our pride, representing all our greatness. By your power, you turn the tide. Oh yeah. Celebrate your gift. Oh, we inspire you, inspire, making great opponents, make them fall. You are winning. Champions. Now receive your
That's incredible.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Wow. That's soul stirring stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oof.
What went through your heart when you?
Well done, Andre. Hats off.
Yeah, it is.
Thank
That's
you.
all.
Thank you.
Wow.
I don't know. I just woke up one morning and I had this arrangement in my head, and I feel like I gotta do the song, but my relationship to the song is not good, you know. Because we all know South Africans, we all know where it comes from, we all know what it stood for,
Yes.
and I didn't want to be connected with that song at all, you know. And but it wouldn't leave me, you know. Like for 3 months, I was like, nah, no. But it's like, you gotta do this song. You must do this song. I just felt this. And then I thought, okay, I gotta have to come from another angle, you know. So I called my friend in South
Yes.
Africa, Fred May, and I said, man, I don't know, but this song wouldn't leave me alone. Could you write some music? Can you write some new lyrics to this, you know? He said, no. I said, and it's my best friend. I said, hey, please.
Fred said no.
Yeah, he said no. He said, just leave it alone, man. You know, we know where it comes from. Leave it alone. But I couldn't leave it alone, man. It was going on like for 2 more months. And then he calls me back and he says, I got lyrics for you. And he wrote those lyrics, you know, and he took the song and he made it more about the people,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You are heroes.
Yes.
And because he says, I mean, not everybody is a Mandela or a Tutu,
Yes.
but there are other people, our parents, you know, our family members.
Yes.
And that was kind of, whoa. And so when he came back, we went into the studio and we did it. But this is another twist to it. I think it's very interesting because I was in South Africa, in Johannesburg, and I went to Jennifer Ferguson.
Okay.
Yeah. She invited me there. I went home and she invited me to Joburg. And I stopped over for like 5 days. And in the backyard, they have this, like a chapel. Every Friday night, they're having like just jams, concerts. People come around. And she said to me, I want you to come. You must come here. I said, yeah. So I stopped over in Johannesburg and I stayed there for 5 days. And that night, I just felt, I got to play the song. I got to play This Time Revisited.
Wow.
And I sat there on stage. It was packed with people. And right in front sat three big brothers, you know. And I started over the song. This time, it was quiet. Nobody said nothing. It was just, and I thought, to myself, I blew it now. I blew it. So afterwards, I went down, I went out, and these guys came to me. They just looked at us. They just looked at me, and they like, you did well, man. You did well. And I'm like, you liked it? Yeah, brother. And they hugged me, you know. But this part, there was another white girl. She came to me, and she was crying. And I'm like, okay. She says, she turned out to be the great-granddaughter of Verwoerd.
Oy, oy, oy.
Just believe that.
Yeah.
And she
We'll,
said,
we'll tell you a little bit later who Verwoerd is and what he stood for, but basically the architect behind a segregated policy that kept people apart.
it was such a, and she said to me, I believe this is the way, this is how the song was supposed
Wow,
to sound.
that's interesting.
Yeah, and I was like, And we hugged and we both started crying because, you know, we felt there was a connection there somewhere.
Yes.
You know, so I mean,
Yes.
yeah, maybe I just had to,
Wow.
the song had to mean something to somebody.
For your benefit, Johanna and Sven, the distem, or I don't know how to translate that, but this was the
The
national...
voice.
The voice, that's right. This was the
And we don't mean that show.
Yeah, this was the national anthem of South Africa under a sort of previous regime. And it was a battle when South Africa was transitioning into a new order, a new kind of makeup of its own fiber, that people felt they needed to change things. So they changed names of streets, they changed names of airports, changed names of places. And of course, then came the national anthem. We changed the national anthem. And so the national anthem today has a combination of this particular part that Andre sang now,
Yeah.
and an additional part called Nkosi Sikelele, which is God Bless Africa. And today, when you hear the national anthem, you actually hear the stem, and then you hear Nkosi Sikelele, and then you hear the stem in two languages, in English and Afrikaans, or Afrikaans and English. I don't know, I can't remember. But what Andre did here was very interesting, I would say, to just, because I can't get a better word. It's rich in an interpretation of, sometimes in history, I know there's a lot of ashes, but you need to find a way to take the fire from it and leave the ashes.
Yes.
And in a way, I think that's what you did with the song. You said all of the past, if it, in Verwoerd's great-granddaughter's words, if it just lived up to a different intention. And so you took that fire and put this together. It's absolutely incredible.
Yes.
So that's the
And let
lesson
me
for
say,
yeah, go ahead. I don't know.
I need to say this. This is so important. When that song was chasing you the way that it was, Andre, it is because through your music, you are in ministry. And never forget that.
Wow.
The reason why that song would not let you go was because you had to minister to people through that song. You were certainly doing that while I was listening.
Wow.
I can tell you that now, because I now need to hear that song over and over again. It was, you are in ministry. Don't let anybody ever tell you any different, because you were absolutely ministering right now. So I received that, and I thank you for being obedient.
Thank
It took
you.
you You're saying that it took you all of those months, but it was because your soul had to be ready first to understand why you were being chased by
Yeah,
that song.
yeah,
And once
totally.
your soul understood it and you embraced that and you received it, you could minister.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
thank you.
thank
Hats
you.
off. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it very
Wow,
much.
it was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
this.
can't talk anymore now,
Yeah.
otherwise I'm going to cry.
Well, friends, Sven Isaksson, thank you so much for joining us from Texas. Johanna,
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Johanna
Coming in,
Degemar, thanks for.
Beautiful here.
Say again, Sven, go ahead.
No, it's beautiful to have this continuation and conversation, you know, and from the outside, how it grows and develops and flows, you know, and how it touches people all around. Amazing to hear, you know.
Wonderful. Thank
And
you
I think
so
it's important to have a conversation we all need to hear. You know, you share something and then the gift comes back, you know, and then wow.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for your part in creating that space for us. Johanna, thank you so very much for adding to that, to the value and meaning of that song, One in a Million. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Send regards. I honor for the bright spark that you bring to life and the joy and exuberance, without which I think life would be very boring. So thank you so much for being the darling and kind-hearted person that you are. I really appreciate you. Really, really do. Andre,
thank you.
you are
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
You're welcome.
Andre, for bringing music for us again tonight. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you.
And I want to say thank you to our students that were here
Yeah.
this evening
Yes.
for really brightening our days. Do you want to go on camera and say hi? A wave? You can turn the camera and say a big wave. Vinka. That's cool. And that's the gang. Cool in the gang. Cool in the gang. Yeah. So thank you very much, everybody. Take good care and have a fantastic rest of your weekend, okay? Thanks again, Andre.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
You too. You too.
Ciao.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everybody.